Liftoff and the clock has started.
Goal.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi Showbie with me, Richard Vobes. Tonight it's Wednesday and I'm on my own, lonesome, but don't let that worry you too much. The lovely Julia is having night off to dye her hair or grow fingernails or to just become more lovelier than ever. And she'll be back on Friday if the wind is in the right direction. It's the 16th of March 2022 and no doubt everybody up and down the country is, well certainly in the southeast, is covered in orange sand. I believe this is either from Spain or from the Sahara or even possibly from the Dordogne, wherever that is. Yes, the skies were orange today and mobile phones all over the place were going, do they still exist, or is it EE now? Or is it the BBC, or one of the two? I don't know. Maybe it was the Vodafone, or O2, or whatever. Apple, or was it that fruit seems to be the thing of the nation? We don't need that one. Thank you. Can hide over there. Anyway, welcome aboard. It's lovely to see you. Thank you very much for joining me midweek, and it's wonderful to be here yet again. The old pulse gets racing when the show starts and the theme tune blasts into my ear. And I hear that tune and I think, oh, blimey, I should be upstairs in the studio. What am I doing down here relaxing with my feet up doing absolutely nothing? Oh, that's silly, isn't it? Anyway, welcome along. It's a lovely community that we have, and you've all welcome to gather up, sit down, have some nice seats, put your feet out, stretch your hands behind your head, flap your eyes in my general direction, and show me that you're alive and alert, which is what we need. The world, of course, needs alerts. And it's lovely to see Ron Langley, Audrey Forbes Hamilton, Mr. Basil B, Kerry Baldwin, Lord Geoffrey Harrison, I may have said that, Simon and Lynn B and Alison O'Brien, and all the others who have turned up to see us. If your name wasn't called, like KP, I do apologise. Steve Mitchell is here, and Pauline. So it's so nice to see you. Thank you very much. We have 2 videos tonight. Bernie is back on the intervene. On the interview. Is that what it is? Inview. I got it in view. Okay, they're new in Scotland. Might have guessed, in the Invernew Gardens, continuing his rambles around there, which is very interesting. We're going to look at that. And Stephen Agger is on the, now I'm not quite sure how this is pronounced, but I'll give it a whirl, the Padon Lake, a narrow gauge railway in Snowdonia. I've never been there, but I'm sure it's absolutely wonderful. Station Master Choice says, hobby or skill? Yes, this is the question. The topic is, what is your latest hobby or newly acquired skill? Have you? Or are you just somebody who just sits, do you know what? I can't be bothered with any of that nonsense. I just sit and watch other people doing stuff. Is that you? It might be. It could be. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need the consumers as well as those who create and do things. After all, otherwise we do things and we don't have anyone to do them for. But everybody likes to get their hands involved in something, or their feet tapping in something. It may be playing an instrument. Have you picked up an instrument? And how did you get on with it? I picked up a micrometer at one time. I tried to blow into it, didn't work. I tried to take my temperature with it, that also didn't work. In fact, I've no idea what a micrometer is. I'm sure it's a small little device for measuring something, and somebody somewhere will tell me one day what it is for. But until that time, I play the ignorant card, which is a new hobby that actually it's a hobby I've had ever since I've been born, the ignorant card. But as far as hobbies go, Station Master's Choice, straight out of the traps there, not at the races, he says hobby or skill has to be film editing, production, and running a YouTube channel. It's interesting. You get up early in the morning, as he does, and you go, come on, boy, we're going out for a run, and out goes the YouTube channel running like that with a big umbrella and a nice early morning vest with the words, YouTube, I'm running. It may not be a running channel, of course. I know what he means. Mark Burgess says, here, sir, here, sir. It's nice to see you there, Mark. Very good. Kerry Baldwin, it says, I've got a new skill. I've carried out my first house history. That was interesting. You must tell us about it. Give us a ring on 0793 474 6790. Not quite yet. The phones are not yet open, but we will open the phones. But it'd be interesting to learn how you go about house history. What is it you do? You look at the house and you think, well, okay, this is a Victorian terrace, or this is a Georgian pile. Sorry, a dirty great Georgian pile, as I once made that comment when a lovingly comment it was about a particular property in a video that I made, and the owner got in touch and said, you are being horrible about our house. I said, I'm not. He said, you called it a dirty great Georgian pile. I said, yes, but that's in the what was it, not the affirmative, in the affectionate, that's the word I'm looking for, the affectionate terms, a dirty great George, that's an affectionate term, it's not an insulting term, but I think they were from foreign extraction, or they were two-way up the ladder to understand what the common or garden person like you and me, well, probably me, you're probably not as common as I am as common, there's enough Vobeses. You open the telephone directory, if you can find one, it's that little thin thing, if you hold it that way you can't see it anymore. Used to be very wide, didn't it, the telephone directory? It used to be that thing where people would go on television, like New Faces, or Britain's Got People Who Think They've Got Talent, that one, and they would have the strongman act, and they would break the telephone directory and rip it in half. It used to be a very big, impressive thing. Do that now. The telephone directory is just, that's it. It's nothing, is it? I mean, I had a Yellow Pages posted through my door the other day, and, I chucked it straight in the bin. What was the point? You can get everything online. I don't really see why they bother to print it, but there we are. I guess there's some people somewhere who go, oh, well, I'm not on the internet, am I? I'm not on the internet. I don't know how I survived without the internet, but I'm not on it. Everything's on the internet these days. That nutter Richard Vobes is on the internet. That's why
I'm not on the internet. There's nutters like him who cause people like me to sit in the wilds of the old days. And yet he's making videos, apparently, I haven't seen them because I'm not on the internet, but he's apparently making videos of things from the old days, but not about me, because he's made me not want to be watching him because he's so ludicrously silly, doing his videos with a bit of comedy thrown in these days at the moment, at making people smile, and people don't want to smile or laugh or any of that nonsense, and so I'm not on the internet, you see. So there are people like that, and I guess the Yellow Pages is probably just for them. It's very nice, isn't it? I wonder if they'd have ever had different coloured pages. I mean, I would have thought that it would have been quite fun to have green pages or blue pages, depending on the mood. You know, you get to a section where you've got red pages for when you're extremely angry, something's gone wrong, and you want an electrician to fix the fuse that has just blown, and you're absolutely livid, and you could ring them up and say, yes, look here, I want someone to come round immediately and fix it. Do you? Yes, I do. Really? Yes, that's why I've rung you. Have you? Yeah, well, of course I've rung you. Talking to you now. Am I? You are. Why do you keep answering everything with a question? Do I? Yeah, were you doing it again? No, I'm not. No, you're not, actually. You didn't on that particular occasion. So have you, by any chance, any strange quirk of fate, got a new topic of interest in your life, a hobby or a skill? Let's have a look. Now, don't forget, if to contact the show through the chat room, in order for me to see what you're up to and chatting to me, please, if you want to address me and alert my very slow attention span, please put the @ and the Vobes Show, just like Brian Jeffries has done, and then away I can see it. You see, it lights up in orange on my screen, a bit like the sky this morning. He says, I've just learned tap dancing. I've already fallen in the sink twice, but hey, everyone a gem. And does Julia have purple pages? That would be good. The purple, I think there's a building firm, isn't it? That Julia's got this building firm called Purple Bricks. I believe that's all right. Not everybody wants a purple house, of course. Let your fingers do the walking, as long as it's walking and not anything else. We'll be all right. We won't get axed on the show. Didn't know the Yellow Pages were still around, says Paul Carr Griffin. Ah, yes, there is. You see, he's been retired for some time. And Paul Carr Griffin, I beg your pardon, he sent me a picture, new skill, driving little trains in his retirement. It's funny how we attract a lot of trainee people on this, a lot of trainees, you understand. Here we go, here he is, look at that. There we are, he's got the hat and he's got the, it looks like an Intercity 123. Is it an 127? What is it, an Intercity 12 something or other? 1, 2, come on, 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 3, 4, shut the door, 5, 6, pick up sticks, 6, 7, and we're going up to heaven. That's the next platform on platform 5. It's lovely. There used to be something similar to that, but not identical, in the park. Oh, hello, steady. In the park just round the corner from me, down the road a bit, Brooklands. Lovely little train there used to be there. They ripped it up and they've saved money. Basically, they put all those retired people who love to do a little bit of train driving out of work. They put them in the field to graze. And so there you just have to, be a duck. Be a duck and it's all right. You used to be able to go on pedalos and things on Brooklands, this little sort of recreation ground. It used to be lovely. Go out there in these little motorboats, not pedalos, these little motorboats. You used to have pedalos down on the beach. I don't know whether it was Worthing Beach, but in the old days, used to do fun things. Whatever happened to fun? Why have they taken fun away, ladies and gentlemen? Why have they taken it all away from us? We used to love a bit of fun, go down to the beach and have a donkey ride. Yeah. What else could you do on there? You could buy ice creams on the beach. There was blokes going along, taking your photograph. Do you remember that? People, you'd be lying there like that, topless, with all your attributes hanging out, swinging around, and someone would come and snap them up. And then they'd take a photograph as well. And years later, you would have to go back and pay the blackmail fee, the ransom, and say, yes, I'll have that picture, but can you destroy the negative, please? I don't want anyone to see that little bit of bulge on my belly as I'm sitting there feeling smelly on the beach. But it used to be fun. They'd kiss me quick hats. When was the last time you saw a kick me? No, what are you talking about? When was the last time you saw a kiss me quick hat? A kick me kick. Oh, for goodness sake. Kick me quick. Try saying that when you've had 17 tons of Irish bitter inside you. Yes, when was the last time we had that? I mean, it used to be fun to go down to the beach and all that. You had Gypsy Rose down there telling you a fortune.
If only she'd given those blooming crystal balls to the MPs. You always hear them on the radio going, well, I haven't got a crystal ball. Someone should buy them. That would be my present to every MP. As you get into Parliament, you get a crystal ball. Then they couldn't appear on television and on Question Time. And when an awkward question is put to them, they can't say, well, of course, I haven't got a crystal ball. You go, yeah, you are. Everyone gets one. You'll get one. You get a crystal ball every time you come an MP. So therefore, you better tell us. Look into your crystal ball, you idiot. You have one now. You're a member of Parliament, and you're going to lie to us anyway, so you may as well make it bloody obvious by having a crystal ball and go, oh, yes, I can see deep into the crystal ball there. Yes, we're going to have a few more people coming in, and we're going to build on a lot of land. People are going to be very unhappy about it, but we're going to lock them up in their houses if they show any dissent. And we're going to pretend that there is all sorts of plagues and crises in the world. It's all going to be horrible, and we're going to tax you to death at the end of it. And we're all, the MPs, we're all going to get nice and rich. That's what's in my crystal ball, so it has to be true. And, of course, it would be true, wouldn't it? It would absolutely 100% be true. Lots of orange stickers coming through the airwaves now. Lord Jeffrey says, just sent you an email picture. I got bored. OK, fair dues. Let's have a look in the old I got bored department. And got bored one day, ripped out the kitchen and put in a new one, says Lord Jeffrey Harrison. And the pictures are coming in as we speak. And here's the first one. Look at that. That must be the old kitchen, which does look a vast improvement on my kitchen. And then here's another picture coming in. That's some bit of loose wire. I think you need to put some sockets on the end of that. That could be quite dangerous. There is some of the kitchen presumably just been put in. Looks very nice. Those doors need to be hung again, I think. That's a bit of a cooker effect. There's I don't know what any of that is, but it looks pretty interesting. Maybe to people who are interested in that sort of thing. Yes, very nice. Thank you very much, Lord Jeffrey. Always nice to see a kitchen in a worse state than mine. Thanks for the sharing that. That's very good. Brian Jeffrey says, I learnt tap dancing. We've done that. We've done the email picture of what you got bored. Look, Chronocrograti says, latest hobby is model railways at the men's shed. A new skill is video editing suitable for the Vobes Show. And you do it very well, sir. And it's very nice to have your videos. And thank you very much for sending them in. Anne Bolton, on the other hand, she says, my 9-year-old daughter, Laura, has started Irish dancing and has done her first performance on Saturday. That is incredible. Does she is she Irish herself? Does she sort of go, hello there, at all, I'm dancing on the thing and I am doing it very well? Maybe she doesn't know. Does she do the limericks? There was an old man from Bombay who slid down the stairs on a tray. He bumped into the Queen and said, sorry, O'Bean, but you should have got out of the way. Poor, we shouldn't take Mickey out of the Queen, of course, or indeed the Irish when it comes to that. Sean James Cameron says Punch and Judy. Yes, used to get Punch and Judy on the seafront. Sean James Cameron, I happen to know, by the way, has also been taking up a new hobby. You know, he is a superb gardener and he makes videos and what have you. But he has had a go this very evening at making bread. And he sent in a picture of his first loaf using ancient and heritage grains, Emma. Nice girl, but she is a bit of a grain now. And so here it is. Here's the picture of his first piece of bread with a bit of butter on it. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? Funny enough, just by strange coincidence, the Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi himself was making bread today. Total disaster. Absolute. My bread rose up like this, and then it was like it was just yeast. It just went up like this, out the top of the tin, and went over the sides and started to dripple. That is a word, by the way. Dripple over the sides, and it sort of spread. I put it in the oven, and it wasn't quite cooked. It's come out now like an absolute brick. Solid very healthy, though. Oh, yes. I mean, you won't hear me complain about it unless you're in my kitchen when I'm trying to eat it. Anyway, thank you very much for that, Sean, and well done. Congratulations, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Lovely piece of bread making gone on there, which is grand. Just looking to see if anybody else has sent in. If you've taken up a new skill or anything like that, we want to know about it. If you've found a new way to earn a fortune, definitely want to know about that. If you've got the winning lottery and you've got a special skill of... Sorry about the noise there. It was a car making a rather awkward backward firing sound. So So Angela Skelton says the Vobes Show, they used to sell saucy cartoon postcards. Sorry, saucy, yes, cartoon postcards in the seafront shops. They're a thing of the... Everything jolly. You notice that? Everything jolly and fun and, English, dare I say. Saucy postcards, but English, wasn't it? Gone. Wiped out. It's now just very utilitarian. There's the sea, between the land and the sky, to quote a famous television comedy of the 1970s, starring Basil Fawlty. Yes, what have we done to this world? People used to be funny and tell jokes and do exciting things. But what's happened? What has happened? Why have we wiped this clean? Where now it's just commercial hoardings everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yes, you can have that burger. Of course you can have that lovely burger, the sausage dog. You want the sausage dog, but not from a chirpy, jolly vendor on the corner of the street or on the promenade. No. You've got to go into this plate glass establishment with this name up here, and the food will be cooked very fastly, very cheaply, and may not actually contain meat. In fact, they may try and persuade you that you've got to not have meat and have green beans or something, because that's the new thing. I'm eating beans, it's true, but I'm not a vegetarian. These happen to be beans that have been eaten by animals. Lynn B says that Brooklands is closed currently due to refurbishment. I wish they'd just leave it alone. Was a lovely little train. Yes, it was a lovely little train. I didn't know. What are they going to do? How are they refurbishing? What are they going to refurbish? They've let it go wild, haven't they? I thought the whole point was it was a wild place. You can't refurbish a wild land. What's the point? It's barking. Then it becomes manipulated, not wild at all. It was supposed to be a nature park. Paul Carr Griffin says, here in Newquay, we see all sorts of things, such as Kiss Me Quick. Do you still see the Kiss Me Quick? Has it all gone to Wales? I mean, when the Romans came, all the Britons, all the old Britons, they went west, didn't they? Maybe still in Wales, all the old English, lovely Kiss Me Quick hats and donkey rides on the seafront, all of that is hiding in Wales, where it's safe. The other side of the Severn. Is that what's happened? Is that where it's going? It does sound a bit grim, doesn't it? Saucy postcard, here we go, a bit of saucy postcard. This is the sort of thing we like, at least I hope it is. I'm just going to put it on and see what happens. Excuse me, can't read it very well, but I'll read it to you. Hey Bert, I know what we'll have for tea, sausage and mash. And there is the man with the Mac doing his little bit of flashing. And the seagull is looking very, very nice. And is that by Chaz, is it? Chaz? Somebody, I don't know. Anyway, there we are, saucy postcard. We like a bit of saucy postcards. Thank you very much for that. Do send in your saucy postcards. Have you got a collection of saucy postcards? I'd love to see them. Or even if you're just saucy, we'd love to see that. Meanwhile, we've got a bit of Irish dancing here. Anne Bolton says, my 9-year-old daughter, Laura, as we said, before her Irish dancing performance. And here she is, ladies and gentlemen, looking at absolute picture, wonderful picture. There she is, in her Irish dancing costume. And she's ready to get out there and do... Is it like the Michael Flattery stuff? What did they call that? River dance, where if you actually can't swim, it's called drowning. But they go whizzing past. Not so good from the chest up, is it? The Irish dance. I can do the Irish dance, the Michael Flattery. I can do that here. It's just shame that my webcam that I normally do for the, this one here, it's a shame that's not working. Otherwise, you'd see some wonderful fancy footwork. You really would. What else have we got out there in the... I love saucy postcards, says Mr. Basil B. Of course, we all like saucy postcards. And Kerry Baldwin says, what a sweetie. There we are. What a sweetie. That's marvellous. Thank you very much indeed for that. Bless her. Well done, Laura. That's absolutely brilliant. What else? Is that it? Now I've got to try and pronounce your name. Mithleesh, is it? My Indian, lovely chap all the way from India. I think you're in India, are you? Somewhere around there. He says, hello. He's talking to actually Alison O'Brien, but he's a lovely chap, and he's always commenting on my videos, so thank you very much for that. What a wonderful man you are. He's always saying how wonderful Britain is. It is very nice, although it is a bit overpopulated these days. Glad we still got you, Richard and Ricky, says Steve Mitchell. Yes, we still got Richard and Ricky, and the lovely Julia, of course. Don't leave her out. She gets very upset. Where were you born, says Simon. That's an interesting question. Where were you born on the planet Earth? In England, funnily enough. In England, in Hampshire. And if you look at Wikipedia, you find out all about it, unfortunately, but there we are. What else? Will Allen says, I almost had a fight at a lumber yard because they thought I was going to pick my own lumber. Well, you can't pick lumber in a lumber yard. You can't pick lumber in a lumber yard. Paul Griffin's got another postcard for us. Here we go. This one, I don't know how risque this is. He says, no, Mr. Smith. I said, could I see your worn old spectacles? It is at an optician's, of course. Yes, thanks for that. That's very funny. Lovely. There we go. Good stuff. Should have done saucy postcards. Maybe we'll do that for another thing. So back to political correctness gone mad. Yes, exactly. What is the latest hobby or new skill learned? We're going to show a video, and we're going to open up the phone lines, and we're going to have a bit of fun with you on the other end of them, hopefully. But before we get to the video, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to do a couple of thank yous to people who sent some stuff in. Now, I don't know whether these people actually watch the Vobes Show, so I'm hedging my bets here. I've had this lovely letter and a couple of little books from a chap called Jethro Vivian. He says, I'm a chimney sweep living in Beverley in East Yorkshire. And my wife and I love your channel. We've liked and subscribed, and we don't miss a single video. Good for you. I've sent you 2 small booklets. One's called The Life and Times of Victorian Chimney Children, and here it is. He has written this book himself, and it's a fascinating thing. He says, for your quest of Englishness. Well, I do want to clamber up a chimney. It would be lovely. And it is a very nice and beautifully illustrated book, as you can see there, talking about from the early chimneys all the way up to modern life. And I believe, is this a picture of him? Here he is. Look at this. There's a lovely looking gentleman. There he is. That is Jethro himself. Wonderful. And I love that stovepipe hat that he's got, which is fantastic. And this is the book. It says here, this is very touching, dedicated and in memory to Samuel Witt, aged 10, Thomas Price, aged 7, and John Fraser, aged 11, who all died sweeping chimneys. And that was only last week. Which is a bit of a shame. And also, so that was that. And thank you very much, Jeffrey. I don't know whether he watches the Vobes Show. If you do, please get in touch and let me know, because I don't know how else to get in touch with you. I don't know if there is an email number or something. Maybe there is, because people do send me stuff, and sometimes they send me stuff and they don't either put a return address or an email address or even a phone number, and sometimes they don't even say who it's from. And that can be very irritating because, obviously, I want to send some hate mail back. But anyway, so that's, he says, also there's a small booklet that I sell to my customers to help them get the best out of their appliance, talking about fires and things. And here it is. Excuse you. Tricks of the Trade, it's called. And it's only £3.99. But the tricks of the trade are all about how to light the fire and the moisture meter, wood burners, firing your stove, all good stuff. Makes an absolute bloody fortune selling all that stuff, and I don't blame him. Anyway, he says there's a small paragraph called Ill Treatment and Cruelty and Death, which can be upsetting in the book. I hope you enjoy a small read and continue your quest for Englishness. Jethro, that's very kind, and yes, I will. Isn't that nice? That's lovely, isn't it? If you've written a book and you would like to send it to me to have a little read, because you know I like reading stuff, please do. Richard@vobes.com is the email address to contact me. Then this came also book promised to me by a gentleman called Stuart, and I forget which Stuart it is. I'll have to look up in my emails. So this is a book here called Mr. Sparrow by John Montgomery, written in 1957. And he says, here's a note there's a lovely old picture that Julia would like that. You know, there's a picture of horses and things in that picture. I don't know if you can see that very well. I could put this on, but of course it's broken because otherwise I'll have to do some Irish dancing. But there we are. Look, lovely horses. Look at that, horses there. And then there is another postcard that comes with it. Well, I'll just share that. Might as well. There it is. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? I don't know where that is. That's out of focus, I know, but it's a history. It's a history place. It probably says on the back here. Milestones recreates the atmosphere of bygone Hampshire. Cobbled streets and trams evoke a feel of the 1900s. Milestones must go there. Is that a place you can go to? Presumably. Anyway, oh, and this is the plough in Harrow. Back in the in Harrow. Wait a minute. Oh, Plough and Harrow in Littlington, East Sussex. Littlington. Marvellous. Anyway, his little note here, tiny little note, says, a note from Stuart. Richard, he says, I hope the book is useful to you while living in Hove. Oh, yes. I was always working miles and miles from home and picked up this in an Oxfam bookshelf while I was waiting in a queue. Purely by chance. Best wishes, Stuart. Stuart, if you're watching, thank you very much. It is, I think it's a story set in Sussex. With a lot of places mentioned. Anybody know anything about Mr. Sparrow? Anybody know that? John Montgomery is the author. So if you're there, please put at the Vobes Show. Too right, hate mail should go both ways. LOL. Exactly. Anyway, thank you for that. Wanted to show that. Right, we're going to show a video, and then we're going to put on the phone lines and see if there's anybody hanging on the end of the phone, and we'll have a chat to them, and we'll carry on finding out all your new hobbies and not saucy postcards, your latest skills. That's the sort of thing. So let's go into the video vault. And what should we do? Well, let's go on the Pardon Lake, or Paddern, is it? Paddern, I don't know, whatever it is, in Snowdonia. It's on the narrow gauge railway. Stephen Agger is going to take us all the way, matey. Off we go. There we go. That's a lovely ride along the old Welsh Himalayas, or the Scottish mountains in Wales, or the snowy mountains of snow. Anyway, wherever it was very nice. Thank you very much, Stephen Agger. Lovely to take a little moment out of the madness of the world and chuff along with a train. And according to Station Master's Choice, that was 1 foot to 11 3/4 or some such thing. I don't know what that means, but it's it's a narrow gauge. And we do have a phone call. Somebody immediately straight onto the phones, which is lovely. And let's find out who that is. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
What, Richard?
What?
Just thought it about time I introduced myself to you.
Okie doke.
Paul Carr-Griffin.
Ah, Paul Carr-Griffin on the phone himself. Are you sitting
That's right.
at the throttle of a small train?
I'm trying to stop my video, my YouTube, and it won't stop. There we go. It's stopped it now.
There, frozen
Yeah.
me, have you?
Yeah. So I've been watching you for about a year and a half now, and I just thought
I do
get
apologise.
a bit more involved, and here I am.
Oh, and here you are. It's fantastic. Lovely to put a new voice on the air and to put a face and a voice to the name.
Yeah, and a new train driver.
And a new train.
Although
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm not really into trains as such, but I really enjoy meeting all the people. As you saw on your views there, I'm at Lapa Valley near Newquay.
Oh, up in Newquay. That's very nice, isn't it?
Yeah, hence the Kiss Me Quick hats.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to find that picture where you. Hang on. Where's the picture you first sent in on the train? Here we go.
It's an APT. It's modelled on the APT. That one is. We've got a 125. That's an APT. Obviously, it doesn't tilt or lean, and that's on a 7.25-inch track.
It would be fascinating if you could make it lean when you want to ditch some of the passengers.
Well, it's not very clever when it leans because it tends to fall over.
Yes.
And we don't like that.
No, because presumably the actual trains that lean have to go at a certain speed in order to maintain.
I have no idea. As I said, I'm not a train person.
No. Well, I don't.
I have to ask the station master for that.
Yes, that's true. But that would be one way of getting rid of unwanted passengers, isn't it? You just suddenly speed up so fast, go around the corner.
All my passengers are all wanted. They're all lovely people.
I'm sure they.
How could you say such a thing?
Well, I'm well practiced in saying such rubbish, I'm afraid. So, did you have orange skies today?
No, we didn't here in the West Country. We had cloud and rain.
That's because we had a bit.
Didn't affect us at all.
Oh, that's interesting because I did hear that it was in the southeast, I think, and.
Yeah, well, Cornwall's not in the southeast.
No, I realise that. That's why I was. But I was just curious because you hear one.
Sorry.
You hear one side of the story and you never quite know.
Well, as you haven't got Zane tonight, I thought I'd better give you a call. You see.
Yes, well, you're a little bit more wordy than Zane, so I'm not used to that.
I'm sorry about that.
Well, no, and please don't apologise. It's lovely when the caller himself actually says something.
Yeah, it does help. Yeah.
Yeah. Although Zane is coming out of his what would you call it? Coming out of his.
He is improving, but
Yes.
you're doing a lot of prompting for him, which is really good.
Yes. I mean, he'd make a good prime minister, I think. Well, at least you're going to get a straight answer, aren't you? So, do you think we should go and invade Russia? No. Okay, thanks. That's it. Done. That's what you want. You want a straight answer from people in power, don't you? Rather than vague waffling.
Yeah, but, I tend to. I'm ex-army.
Oh, are you?
I go with the British Legion, where we don't discuss religion or politics.
No, good idea.
And we don't swear.
No, excellent. Well, that's what I ruddy well like.
Yes.
So, tell me about your time in the army. Then, what sort of things were you doing?
I joined at 16. I left school at 14. Joined the army at 16.
Wow. What sort of period? What sort of period are we talking about?
69.
Ah, right. Okay. So, were
very
you?
old.
Yeah. So you were around sort of what in the Cold War when that was all. So you've seen all this sort of.
Well, I was in the Cold War. I mean, when you talk about the Cold War, when I was a lad, every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, the air raid sirens would go to test them.
Oh, right.
Because of the Cold War. And I can still hear those now when I think about it. It's 11 o'clock Saturday morning. Some of your older listeners may well remember that as well.
And what was that nationally?
Well, it's certainly where I grew up in Bournemouth, in Hampshire.
Oh, right.
Because Bournemouth was in Hampshire then.
Yes. It still is, isn't it?
No, it's Dorset. Now, it changed to Dorset in 1974.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, before that I was in Ringwood in the New Forest. Then we moved to Bournemouth. And that was all Hampshire until 1974.
Oh,
It
and
became Dorset.
now it's become Dorset. Yes, I suppose it is in Dorset. I'm just trying to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's right on the cusp, isn't it, next to the New Forest?
Yeah, absolutely. So, but at the age of 19, I was on the streets of Northern Ireland, which
Oh yes,
wasn't
of course.
much fun.
No, I can.
What do you mean, of course?
Pardon?
You said, of course. How would you?
Well, of course, it wasn't much fun.
Oh no, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
so,
I said of course because I do remember. I mean, I remember that whole thing. I mean, you go into London, the barriers were up there, and all the bombs
Yeah,
from the
but
IRA and all of that.
anybody under 35 or 40 will have no memory or knowledge of what we went through those days.
No, the troubles and
Yeah, exactly.
oh yes,
And,
no. I mean, I wasn't when I was in the sort of 70s when all this was going on. I was a teenager and I wasn't really interested in it. I couldn't understand it, and I still don't really fully understand the whole thing. Why I could understand where in the Second World War you'd have one country against another country. I kind of got that, but I couldn't understand
it. All goes back to 17th century.
Yes, no, and I don't want to. Obviously, I don't want to get into it now, but I just couldn't understand this thing where, hang on a minute, you both. It was sort of, to me as a teenager, it was this religious thing that they'd fallen out, and yet they were actually both believing or praising the same God. It's just that they were.
That's the same with most religions in the world, Richard.
Yeah. So, but it just showed you, but it was close to home, and we all knew that what Semtex was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course, I mean, it's slightly different when you're patrolling the streets and potentially having.
Yeah, because I never expected to be doing that because I joined a tank regiment. So at the age of 17, I was driving armoured cars. At the age of 18, I was driving chieftain tanks, and not really expecting to go to Northern Ireland. In fact, we were due to go to Cyprus.
Right.
And then suddenly, all the cavalry regiments, because the troubles were going on far longer than they expected, all the cavalry regiments had to retrain as infantry.
So you didn't take any tanks over to Ireland, presumably?
No, we took armoured cars.
Oh, did you?
Garrisons, which we call pigs. Yeah.
Gosh.
So, exciting times.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
well.
So I spent 12 years in the army, and then, in a nutshell, 22 years National Trust, 12 years as a senior manager, and I used to live in Plasnowith, so I could sit on my throne in Plasnowith and see Snowdon and the Snowdon Railway.
Wow.
So I'll come back to railways again.
Yes. So National Trust. So what were you doing at the National Trust?
Well, I was a property manager.
Right.
I looked after mansion houses. My first house I looked after was Benningborough Hall in York. The second one was Kingston Lacey in Dorset.
Oh, right. Okay.
Then my final one was Plasnowith in the village of Llanfair Pwsgwyngyll Go Gwynglod Bethlantysidio Go.
Congratulations! Yeah, well, of course. I didn't want to say it. I'll let you.
Yeah.
I'll let you say it. You're probably the only other viewer. I mean, the only other person who can say that is Station Master's Choice.
Can he write it out as well?
Yeah, I dare say he's a clever fella. He is a clever fella.
Yeah. We've been having a slight conversation on the side here about woke.
Oh right, have you? Yeah. Well,
I think I'd get on. I think I'd get on rather well with him.
Absolutely. But the National Trust, didn't they went a bit woke, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I still volunteer for the National Trust, and we made me cross certainly about 4 or 5 years ago. They've gone totally out of the box, and many of us volunteers. So I've been a volunteer now for 10 years. I was with the trust for 22 years. We sort of think, oh, well, we don't like this, but if you walk away from it, then you can't change it.
Right. Yes. So better to be on the inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
And get your elbows out, sharp elbows, and say, "Oh, do you think
to come to their senses?"
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, and I guess I guess as soon as they start losing money, suddenly they come to their senses. Hang on a minute, the people are no longer joining.
Exactly.
And all of that, because it all seems to be, a lot of these things seem to come as a bit of a fad, and they think, well, we better get on there because we don't want to get cancelled or have all this stuff, and actually. No. You wait for the tide to pass.
So, Richard, do let me know if I'm going on too long and you've got other callers waiting.
No, please, you're a new caller. You're fascinating and interesting. I'm enjoying the conversation, and the rest of the audience are chatting amongst themselves and doing their thing.
Okay.
Never feel... as soon as you get a bit boring, you'll hear this sound.
Oh, that one. I know that one well. Yeah, after 22 years in the National Trust, I retired from that, and I spent 10 years as a butler.
As a butler? Hang on, whoa! A butler. I want to hear. Wait. I want to hear your butler voice.
for goodness sakes.
You wouldn't say that. Is it?
Well, no,
Jenkins.
I can't just go into my voices, and I do have lots of voices because, very similar to you, I like entertaining,
Right.
and I've spent the last 10 years with amateur theatricals.
Oh, blimey, there's no stopping you, is there?
So I do a lot of stage work. And
So
set
similar
building,
to
things
Zane.
like that.
In so many ways. So when Lord Geoffrey out there in there says, Carl Griffin, come here, would you? I want you to get the Bentley out.
Rather well done, I would say, actually, old chap. I think that's not far off.
Is that so? Is this how you would you reply? Would you be going, oh yes, sir, of course, sir, I'll get the Bentley out immediately, sir.
Always very polite, always sir or ma'am. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you ever have to, one of the employers would say something that you would think was, a bit like the Jeeves and Mortimer, not Jeeves and Mortimer. I'm thinking
Jeeves and Worcester.
Jeeves and Worcester. Yes. Say something where you sort of feel that you've got to correct the.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh, would you?
Yeah, many times. But having said that, many times they would ask me.
Oh, would they? So a bit of advice.
Not all of these people with money are all that bright.
No, I can.
There are exceptions.
Yes.
And I have looked after some lovely people like Rowan Atkinson,
Have you?
Paul Whitehouse. Paul Whitehouse's dad, when he was alive, lovely man, and many other people. So I've looked after some lovely people, and most people are very intelligent and very bright and very sober. But you get the odd ones where one has to bite one's tongue.
Right. So just before you, we better wind this up because otherwise people will be.
Yeah, I understand
but
that.
I just want to hear your butler's voice before we let you
I
go.
don't think I have a butler's voice. I tend to be myself.
Oh right, okay. So we're hearing.
Yeah, boring old me with a Hampshire accent.
What would they call you by your surname, Carl Griffin? Is that how they would call you, or would they call you Paul?
Paul or PCG.
PCG.
Well, these days here in Newquay, everyone calls me Mr. Cupcake, and that's another story.
We must save that then for another occasion, Mr. Cupcake.
We will do that.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you, Paul, for ringing in. It's so nice to have this lovely chat.
Okay, we'll catch up soon.
Yes,
Chin chin
indeed.
for now.
Yeah, look after yourself. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye-bye. There we go. That is the marvellous... just trying to close the phone down, which for some reason... I have this thing on my phone, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why. It keeps telling me my balance, and you have to press OK, but it won't actually disappear because it keeps... Yes, yeah. And then I can't actually close the phone down. So I just unplug the bloody thing. Sorry, I've unplugged the phone for a minute because I can't close it down. I need to blow my hooter. That was Carl Griffin, all the way from Cornwall. Fantastic. I don't need those on. I don't know why I've got them on. I'm a bit mad. So lovely. What an interesting man. And thank you very much for finding your way to the Vobes Show. So I'm sure that at some point, if ever I could earn more than tuppence on the show, I could certainly I could do with a nice butler. It'd be fantastic. What an interesting chap. So hope to hear more from Mr. Cupcake in the future. So there we go. Julia says we're all enjoying the call, which is fantastic. Now I've got another call. I don't know if I can get to the call. Hang on a minute. I'm trying to answer the call, but I have this strange... Hang on a minute. Hold on, I've got to plug you back in now. Every time I get this little... Anyway, you don't want to know about this, but it's an irritant. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Mr. Vobes. How art thou?
We are very well. Hello, Mr. Sandell. Have you ever been a butler?
No.
No. Well, I'm sorry, I can't talk to
I
you.
have been a waiter.
Oh, have you? That's all right. You just saved yourself. Where have you been waiting? Waiting to get through to the show?
It was over... Hello? Yes, it was very difficult to get through to the show.
Yes, I'm so soggy. Where were you waiting?
I was waiting in a hotel in Brighton over one Christmas when I was a student.
Was that the Metropole or the Grand or something like that?
Oh, something fancy.
Yeah, something fancy.
My shoes used to smell horribly.
What, from all the walking about?
Yes, and I had to cycle home at night.
Yes.
And cycle back again about 4 hours later.
Blimey, that's a lot of work. A lot of cycling going on. Were you in a...
My waiter... And my waiter didn't give me any financial tips. He just bought me Whiskey Max.
So you were cycling home drunk?
Yes.
We Kiss me
We had about 3 hours in the afternoon break, and so we go to a bar, and I met Long John Baldry there.
Long John who?
Baldry, you don't remember him?
Long John Baldrick.
Yeah, Long John Baldry. He was about 7 foot something and was a white blues singer back in the day.
Oh, okay. I'll go with that. I mean, I probably wasn't around in that day.
No, you probably weren't. No, you were a little pup.
Yes, there was a glint in my mother's eye.
It was a hell of a 4-day job, I can tell you. I didn't know what day of the week it was.
No.
I got so little sleep.
Do you still know what day of the week it is?
I think it's Wednesday.
It is a Wednesday, actually.
I only keep track of the days because it's when your show is on.
Thank God for the Vobes Show.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank God for the Vobes Show. Where would you be without
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and nothing in between.
Yes, I'm so sorry about that. So I know you don't watch it anymore, but the topic today is, what is your latest hobby or new learnt skill?
Well, when I came back to England, my intention was to make videos like your good self.
Yes.
But frankly, that is a bit beyond me.
Yes.
Because I have watched the videos which people send into you, send into your show, and they are such crap.
What? The videos that get sent into my show?
Yes.
You do know you are talking on my show?
Yes, I do. On Monday, after 2 videos, I turned off the show because
as a result of that, you got the gall to ring in and slag off the videos.
Yes, absolutely. And I would be no better, absolutely no better at making videos.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely no better. So it is turned instead to exploring and taking photographs.
And are you any good at that?
Oh yes, very.
Well, I'm glad you think so. I'm glad. I guess you get to an age, and now you may have offended a lot of my audience, by the way. You may well. I'm just pointing that out because it isn't normal for someone to ring in, regardless of what they think of other people's videos, in this lovely community that we got, to ring in and slag them off. But this show can only go down to the deepest grounds and do what it does. But
I mean, some are nice, some are good, but of late. Ugh.
Yes, let's not dig any deeper holes than we need to dig here, shall we? Let's not dig any holes deeper than we need to dig. Everybody is at a different level at everything. And I'm aiming to do on my Bald Explorer stuff a little bit of comic stuff. Now, not everybody's going to find it funny, and it's a learning curve for me. And there may well be a lot of people who watch my walking through the countryside, pointing at trees and going, "Oh, there's a tree," who love that sort of thing. They may look at my comedy and go, "Well, it's not funny at all. Absolutely not funny."
Yeah, well,
and it's crap.
That is another serious topic, isn't it?
It is. Everything's subjective, is what I'm getting to. So your point of view is only your point. I'm just saying this because I want to try and retain the community that is following me. Your point of view is purely your point of view, and luckily it's not everybody's point of view.
Yeah, I am concerned about your direction.
Good. Well, I'm pleased to hear that. We've got to move on, Mr. Alan Sandell. It's been interesting talking to you.
Very good, sir.
You look after yourself as much as you can.
As always.
Yes.
As always. Cheers.
Take
bye.
care. Bye. And don't forget to keep taking the old tablets.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Good. Marvellous. That's it. I don't know how to turn this off. I just unplug it. It's probably the easiest. Right. Brilliant. Thank you very much. That was Alan Sandell with, I don't need these on again, with his own personal opinion. Meanwhile, we move on. We have a saucy postcard to show you before our last video, and then we're almost pretty out of time. And the last postcard is from Sean Ginley. Sean, thank you very much for this. Here it is. Let's have a look at this one. Don't forget your rock. And there it is. Where is that? Blackpool rock, presumably, because that's the Blackpool Tower. Lovely, saucy postcard. Anybody been to Blackpool recently? I've only been there. I've been there twice, I think, to Blackpool. I was very disappointed on the very first time I ever went. I'm going to sneeze. Here we go. Achoo! Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. It's very dusty in here. It's very dusty. At least we haven't got a hornet flying around. That's one good thing. Yes, I was very disappointed when I went to Blackpool some years ago, probably about 15 years ago now, maybe more, 20 years ago possibly, and it was in the winter though. I didn't see it in its all its glory, but probably these days it may be looking a bit. I don't know what it looks like. Lots of people sort of reeling at the comments from Alan Sandow. I'm sorry, I apologise on behalf of. Well, I can't apologise on behalf of him for those comments, but I did think that was unnecessary, and you heard me squeal and squirm in trying to get out of it, but there we are. Anyway, what we are going to do is to show one of our wonderful video producers who is as regular as anything and has kept this show going with his regularity, and it's good old Bernie. Good old Bernie is going to take us back to Inverlew Gardens up in Scotland, and it'll end up taking us to the end of the show, which is fantastic. So, Bernie, here we go. Let's nip back into the old video box and enjoy Bernie's latest adventure.
Just sitting, taking a rest for a moment. It's all climbing around this part. And not quite as formalised at this end as I would have imagined, to be quite honest. But everything does seem to be themed. Different areas are centred on different plants and different parts of the world, but this is nonetheless quite enjoyable. This is like sitting in a tropical rainforest today. There's a bit of cloud and a bit of mist, but the sun's up there, and it's quite a humid environment. Not so bothered by midges here. I'm just wondering what that plant is. Where is it? Oh, I lost it. Let me try and get my bearings on it. There it is. Oh, come back. Gone out of focus again. Come on, come back to focus. That's it. That is extremely interesting. Just listening to the bird life. There's bird song here that you don't hear on the south coast. Small chirping birds mostly. Very pleasant, if a little bit uncomfortable from time to time with the midges. This little part, for some reason, is called Clive's Pond, and it smells as stagnant as it looks, but notice that wild rhubarb there. Wow. Haven't seen any wild haggis yet. Now we have another nice little pond here. This one has a lovely selection of lilies on it. Water lilies. Look at that. Can I get one without going too much out of focus? Yes. one a bit easier there. Look at that. And bring it back a little bit in focus. There. How nice. Now, here we are, mid-July, and I'm looking at lilies. Not lilies. These are irises, I reckon. And just goes to show how late things very often are up in the north of Scotland. Don't expect to see any of these down south. Pretty, aren't they?
Very pretty. Very, very pretty. Wonderful to see all those wonderful flowers, whether they're lilies or whatever it was you said. Lilies, I can't remember what you said now. Anyway, they were very, very nice. Thank you very much. Bernie, lovely to see your wanderings into probably part of Scotland I'm never likely to see myself. And that's the beauty of this, like with Stephen Agger on the train there going up to Snowdonian. Probably may have a chance to do that. Who knows? At the rate of the price of diesel at the moment, I can barely leave my house. But there we are. So that's it, I think, for the show. We're 9 o'clock bang on, so there we are. Good timing, isn't it? Wonderful. Thank you very much for coming along tonight. Interesting to find out what your hobbies and new skills were. Lots of people out there taking things up. And remember, as you get older, it's wise to take up new hobbies and skills because it keeps the old mind exercised, which is fantastic. There are some of us, of course, who call the show who perhaps needs their mind exorcised, but that's somewhat different. Anyway, there we are. That's it. Thanks so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here and entertain you as best I can. And to our callers, of course, to Bernie for his video at I always get this wrong with the gardens up there in Scotland, the Inverewe Gardens. Thank you. And Stephen Agger with the Padon Lake. You know what I'm like with pronunciations. I'm absolutely rubbishy. And on that note, I think, let me just see if I can. Stephen Agger sent in a photograph, here we go, of the train that he was with. So we just quickly showed that. There we are. That was the train he was on. And I believe that may well be him standing there halfway down, ready to close all the doors. I don't know if you can see that very well. And that's it. How brilliant. Thanks for the saucy postcards. That brightened up my day. Sean for his picture of the bread. And you guys for coming in and typing and keeping me occupied and telling me about your hobbies and new skills. And, of course, the lovely Julia and Judith for moderating and making sure everything is in order and everyone's behaving themselves. Back on tomorrow is the Board Explorer and another video for you to enjoy. And then this show will be back on Friday with the lovely Julia and myself, struggling against the wealth of callers who try to belittle us all. But we will be above it all in this wonderful community we call the Vobes Show. Till that time, take care, look after yourselves. Bye for now. Bye-bye.